Hey, kids. You're listening to the internet's wettest podcast about video games, consoles, and pancakes. The SML Podcast.
What's up, everybody? This is the SML Podcast. Oh, Jesus fucking Christ.
Oh, my God.
You're welcome.
Jacob's here. I'm going to acknowledge you first because you weren't interrupting me. So, Jacob, how are you doing?
I'm doing okay. I started up my new job.
No one cares. Aki's here, too.
Oh, my God. Jacob, what's your job?
I mean, so I now work for like an investment banking company. And I can't really talk about the details of what I do, but it's mostly looking for fraud.
Oh, nice. Okay, word.
So that's why he's on the show, because we're all frauds.
Ooh, we're not all coming together.
Well, I mean, part last night I actually had to go through a bunch of ID submissions and stuff like that, and one of the things we have to do is you have to take a picture of your ID front and back, also send a selfie so we know it's you. And so Aki, you'll perk up at this. Occasionally, people send nude or almost nude photos because they think that we're just gonna skate them on through. And one of my coworkers told me about it, and I'm not saying I didn't believe her, but I was like, it's not going to happen that often. And she rattled off all these things that she's seen in her 2 years of working for this company, and I'm like, I'll probably never get around to seeing all this wacky shit. I literally saw it all in 30 minutes.
Wow.
And let me guess, all the naked ones were dudes, old dudes.
Well, I mean, I couldn't tell because, it
was a boob. I don't know if it was good or not, but it was a boob.
They didn't have shirts on. There's a lot of guys who take selfies, and I don't know if they just save these for Tinder or something. Probably. But but however, there was one woman who she was definitely trying to show off as much of her right boob as she possibly could without showing off nipple. And I'm just none of the information matches on your ID, and I'm not going to oh man, she's almost showing me boob, I'm going to sign her up for an investment account. Literally no one's going to do that for you, lady. So yeah, so that's what I've been up to. Wait, did we talk about my basement pipe bursting last week too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. By the way, Brooke's here too. Since Jacob had to go on his tangent.
Hey, Brooke, I'm here too, guys. It's all right. I'm doing pretty good. My job's a lot more boring than Jacob, but it's going hard right now. I write offer letters for Twitter and I audit. I'm an auditor, so that's always fun.
How many boobs do you see on Twitter every day?
She sees
Holy
you,
shit, Dopey with a raid, 17 viewers coming in. I am so sorry to each and every one of you that has to be here for this. But how's everyone doing? Brooke, you're talking about your job. How's that going?
It's going good. I mean, it's going hard right now. We're so freaking busy, but it's the beginning of the year. We're hiring a lot of folks, so it's to be expected.
Sounds like a party.
Yeah.
I know you don't have much time. Should we just dive into the reviews?
Yeah, if you guys don't mind, I'm going to give my reviews, maybe chat for a minute, and get out of here by 6:30. 6:30 Pacific.
6:30. I was going to say, if it's 6:30 Eastern, you are screwed.
What time is it where all y'all are?
It's 9.
I know, I think,
3 hours ahead.
Aki, you're in, where are you right now? I thought you were in Nevada.
I was. I just got home from Nevada.
Oh,
so I'm in
that's
Indiana
right.
again.
Oh, okay, cool.
Indiana's Eastern time?
Uh-huh.
Huh.
I didn't know that.
I thought that was Central.
Nope.
Nah. Even Michigan is Eastern Standard Time, which I was a little surprised by. Yeah.
I'll be
it
damned.
stretches farther along than you'd think. Much like my butthole.
Oh my God.
First game to talk about tonight is called Sherlock Holmes Crimes and Punishments, developed and published by Frogwares, released February 3rd on the Switch for $29.99. Become the most celebrated detective of all time, Sherlock Holmes. Use your impressive talents as a detective to solve 6 thrilling and varied cases, murders, missing persons, spectacular thefts, and numerous investigations that sometimes lead you into the realm of the fantastic. Will you follow your moral compass, or will you apply the letter of the law? Brooke, I'm guessing you went off the rails and just murdered everyone.
You know,
hold on. Can I interrupt real quick?
No.
Yes. No, I will.
Denied.
What is this? Just like a Switch port?
Yes.
Or is it?
Yeah.
Okay, because I'm like, I swear I have this game for the Xbox.
Yeah, that's why I said it released February 3rd on the Switch.
I know, but
pay attention.
I know, but I didn't know if we were just reviewing the Switch version. Shut up.
So, yeah.
You know what? I'm engaged. I'm engaged on this show, and I'm asking questions.
So
he's asking the big questions here. You know what? Like, it's a wonderful question, Jacob, because that actually confused me a lot, which I'll explore in my little review here. Let me get out my notes, because I write this shit out in advance in case I get nervous. All right, here we go. Frogwares has done it again with a well-crafted Sherlock Holmes mystery solver that brings all the charm of classic Sherlock fiction and games. Holmes heads crave. Holmes heads, I just made that term up. With the oodles of insightful and funny liberties taken with established lore and characters Frogwares fans have come to expect and look forward to being surprised by. That is what I'd say if I had understood going into it after playing Sherlock Holmes Chapter 1 on PC. Let me get my single complaint with this game, because I have only one complaint with this game. Let's get it out of the way at the beginning here. It was super confusing for me as a new Frogwares fan to jump into this game not realizing it was originally released in 2014. By the way, it looks great. Looks great for a 2014 game. And I slowly began to realize, with the help of Joe, who I immediately hit up on Discord, that this is not at all a continuation of the game titled Chapter 1, which I reviewed for our show last year.
You should have talked to me about it.
I really should have, and now I'm feeling stupid because, like, 2 weeks ago, you told me you played all those games, but, like, I starts out.
I'm the one who told you these existed.
True, super true. Never pretended to be smart or have a good memory, so I use it in my defense right now. But
you fit in well with us.
Yeah, I'm getting that. I'm getting that vibe. It's a welcoming community for me and my character flaws here. But yeah, so I start the game up and I'm like, wow, I look really different and I'm old, and so does Watson. And then I hit Joe up. Listeners will recall my mind was blown by Chapter 1 last year. I enjoyed the writing and universe building in that game so much that I may have freaked a few people out. The writing and the world building, extremely creative liberty taking for Crimes and Punishments. This game, Crimes and Punishments, is excellent, but it is a totally different world, totally different characters and interpretations of like classic Holmes shit than Chapter 1. But if Chapter 1 had you chuckling like me and going, oh, neat, all the time with its really fun and unexpected takes on the franchise, this game's not going to disappoint at all in that department, even though it is different. The intro credits scene for the player character and the NPCs is even like really funny and cool to me. I was kind of laughing from the beginning, but it's not even like an overall comedy game, but just lots of like fun moments. Just really cool. Mechanics wise, this game has almost all the same types of controls and mechanics as Chapter 1. Handles incredibly well, especially for a Switch game. I think it actually handles better than Chapter 1 on PC for me, which is really saying something, given this game's initially released in 2014, Chapter 1's released 2021. Any player who games on both PC and Switch know that a game handling better and more comfortably on Switch than PC, it doesn't happen every day. This re-release for Switch was really well made, with a lot of love. After a tutorial of basic controls, including, you get to change your clothes and accessories for playing as Sherlock. By the way, I immediately picked like a funny hat and glasses. I just like really did it up.
How crazy do they let you get?
A little crazy. You can even change your facial hair. It's pretty sweet. It was great to immediately put on that costume, but then have the other characters continue to take me seriously. That was nice. So yeah, your game opens up, you'll begin to explore different locations and talk to tons of different people, getting clues based on how many things you notice about characters and locations you're visiting, and your ability to connect the relevant ones and discard the ones that are irrelevant. Players who like games like LA Noire will likely get a big kick out of this game. It's got similar things going on. It's certainly inspired by that too, but got a lot more going on. Story-wise, we open up the game playing briefly as Watson, who is in the study of Sherlock Holmes. So why are we playing as Watson to learn the controls of the game? Well, Sherlock's busy. He is firing his handgun around his own apartment blindfolded, and Watson is trying to dodge. Why is Sherlock firing his gun in his apartment blindfolded? He received some
YOLO.
Dude,
yeah, it's
big
Sherlock.
time. It's, he received some vases in the mail as a gift, but he hates them. So he's shooting at the vases while Watson and the landlady beg him to stop. They're like, please, dude, this shit is not free. We don't immediately solve the mystery of why Sherlock is blindfolded, let alone using a gun to dispose of his unwanted gifts. But savvy mystery-solving players will begin to deduce that, like in many interpretations of the Sherlock Holmes source material, Sherlock is smart, but crazy and not good at people. And he's probably drunk right now.
Oh, he's definitely high.
I'm so glad that you played this game too, because he's definitely high and drunk for many scenes of this game, many mysteries, and I think it's really well done. The interface for this game is actually just really beautiful. I loved it. And everything from the menus to the loading screens are interesting, immersive, well made. During loading screens where you're traveling from location to location on your map, Sherlock will appear in a carriage, having a bumpy ride down a cobblestone street, and the sound effects are just really cool there's some screen shake going on, and while the next scene loads, you can open your case notes to review what you learned in previous scenes while you wait to get to the next location, and it won't kick you out if it's done loading before you're done reading. You kind of get to choose, and for me, that's very reminiscent of how, Sherlock in this game, if he were real and he were reading and his ride pulled up to where he was going and everyone was waiting on him, he would never get out of that car until he was done. He just doesn't care. He doesn't care about others. And it's pretty sweet. That's all I have for the review before rating.
Well, sounds like you're enjoying it. So
yeah.
What are your thoughts? It's $29.99. Again, debuting on the Switch, Jacob. $30. What do you think?
Even though I was initially a little disappointed because I fell in love with Chapter 1 and I kind of wanted to play those characters more, I actually think this game has a lot of good content. I do think, for the ratio of price to hours of potential play, I think this is worth it. I'm going to rate this a buy it for big mystery game players specifically. Maybe a try it for players who want a really creative take on a more classic Sherlock, as opposed to Chapter 1 by Frogwares, which I would describe more as a totally fresh and wildly creative revamp of the entire idea.
Yeah, Chapter 1 is basically their reboot of everything. This is just, bringing older games to new platforms. I'm sure we'll see Devil's Daughter come along too.
Hopefully we'll see versus Jack the Ripper as well. I doubt it, but it'd be nice because all three of them play the same.
I'd be definitely into trying those. Playing this game, chatting with Joe a bit, and then looking it up and seeing this one came out in 2014. As I got further into the mechanics, I was like, oh, cool. They made this game and they learned so much about how they want to do the games. And then Chapter 1 feels more like, hey, we've taken all the tools that we love from this franchise and we're going to kind of just go balls out with it. We're going to go nuts. And I love that, but they're both great, totally different experience, even though the mechanics are quite similar.
Cool. All right. Next game to talk about is Paper Dolls 2, developed and published by Winking Skywalker Entertainment Limited, released January 25th on PS4 and PS5 for $19.99. Paper Dolls 2 is a first-person horror adventure game. A dark aura emanates from a Qing dynasty dwelling, the Yin Mansion. What happens to the once famous Yin family? Clues lead us to its second floor, haunted by restless spirits. A truth buried for over 100 years is waiting to be unraveled. Brooke, tell us about I can't say Paper Dolls 2. What the fuck is wrong with me?
Paper Dolls 2. There you go. It's that simple.
There you go. And that's a soundbite right there. We're going to save that.
Oh,
okay.
God.
That'll be the box quote. I can't fucking say the name.
I like that. Okay. Well, let me take a drink here. Give me a sec. All right. First thing I want to say about Paper Dolls 2 is, after playing and reviewing Paper Dolls 1 for last week's show, it's clear that Dolls 2 is as a sequel is a big upgrade to the experience of the original. I mentioned last week, Paper Dolls 1's an extremely pretty game with actually awesome artwork and 3D models. And for an escape roomy horror game, it just looks wonderful. It's super creepy, physically immersive, has a wicked ambiance, if you will. In good conscience, I can judge a horror game on two fronts. The first front is what I just mentioned, ambiance, atmosphere, how the game feels to play. This game has spoopy ambiance in spades. I feel like I'm really there in the setting of this game. I'm spooked. That's always an accomplishment. But unfortunately, the second front I would judge a horror game like on this is, for lack of a better word, accessibility. What I mean by accessibility in this sort of first-person horror game is like a good learning structure that allows me to have a fighting chance at solving the riddles by myself. I sadly don't feel this game delivers at all on this front due to the same issues I have with Dolls 1. English localization that I feel is done so poorly, I actually can't understand a good portion of the puzzles in this game. Ugh. Just like in Dolls 1. Yeah, it's sad, and I put a lot of time into it too, and well, just like in Dolls 1, I come away seriously doubting any native English speakers who worked on this English release at all. And that doesn't matter to me if the language or the grammar is clunky, as long as it works and I know what's happening. I'm a big Otome fan, and I wouldn't be a big Otome game fan if I cared about like perfect localization just for like aesthetics in language. But if what I want out of a game is to figure out the mystery, escape from the escape rooms, and I need a walkthrough or hints from a message board because the game isn't speaking the language well enough to make the content make sense to me, I'm sorry to say, but that is kind of a fail in my book for this subgenre, especially for a game that's only going to take most players 3 to 6 hours. There aren't like a ton of different like decisions and things to do in this game. So if you need a walkthrough to look up like a bunch of them, well, similar to my review of Dolls 1 last week, giving this feedback does make me sad, and it's a shame because this game is doing a lot right. I can tell this is a great horror game in its native language. I was looking forward to making more intuitive and challenging choices in this game and getting fully immersed. As soon as I started solving riddles, I was like, oh, these are a little harder than the last game, and I like that. I have to really think about what I want to do here. I can't just like plug every object into every object and like, you know what I mean? I didn't have I just got really stuck. And once I looked up solutions, I was just really convinced that the language editing didn't make this game very playable for our region. I didn't have a bad weekend hanging out in Paper Dolls 2 because ultimately it's a sexy, creepy Chinese goth mansion. That is like literally my type of goth weep shit that I love. But I was never going to get out of that mansion without looking up some hints in YouTube videos. And once I did read up on what the solutions were for the places that I got stuck, I was even more convinced this game just wasn't successfully released for my language.
And shit happens.
Yeah,
it's a bummer when language barriers hinder the experience of a game. And how do you overcome that besides hiring other people?
I will say, like, I know it's not cheap to make any part of a game, but kind of like I alluded to on last week's show, I have done volunteer localization work for games before. I'm really into Otome games. I think in 2014 or 15, I helped to localize a Steam release of, it's called Lost in Secular Love. It's an awesome freaking dating game, by the way. You get to date these 3 monks or your family will die and starve to death. I love it so much. I want to talk about this game sometime.
Aki, have you played it?
No, I've never even heard of it.
We're going to link you to this game, dude. At the beginning, you get to choose hair or no hair for how you want the monks to appear. It's pretty sick. We'll talk about this some more sometime. It's a great game. But yeah, they couldn't afford to do real localizations. They just put some feelers out on Steam, and they were like, hey, does anyone want to volunteer to help us do like some North American localization for this game?
Oh my, yes, definitely with hair. Yes.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, pick me. And it was actually pretty competitive. A lot of people volunteered. What I would say, if the devs for Paper Dolls are listening, what I would say is, I know you made a freaking great game. I know it's beautiful. I know it's really successful in China too. If you ever want to try again or like re-release, I would reach out to volunteers. I think you might be surprised at the response you would get. I'd certainly volunteer to help localize it because I think it would be worth it. So.
Well, not only that, but there are a lot of people who have gone to school for translation that in school they still need to make some money.
Yeah.
So often you can hire them for fairly cheap, and after they first graduate, most of them don't know what anything's worth, and they just want to get experience so they can get better jobs. You can always hire those people to do it for fairly cheap at that.
That's a great point. Like, those services are cheap. Like, everybody who's majoring in Japanese in school and who wants to like help localize anime and games someday, they're all trying to get those really cheap gigs. Then they're so competitive that like they pay very little. So that's an awesome point. I guess what I would say is, like, even if it's a lot more competitive to localize or translate Japanese games than Chinese games. Lost in Secular Love, the game I talk about, is a Chinese game. And do I speak Chinese? I don't. I majored in Japanese in school for a long time, but I didn't learn Chinese. But I was able to volunteer because basically they ran the scripts through Google Translate, and then they wanted me to clean up the grammar and have it thematically make sense. Like, I know this is a little bit of a tangent here, but one of the issues that I had when I was working with some Chinese dude for that game is the scripts came to me, and you're playing as a character that is like, you know, you used to have a noble family, but your whole family's really poor now. And you've been doing odd jobs for different restaurants and like shops around town. And it came over as like, they were like, oh, she's a street worker. She's been working the streets. And I wrote back and I was like, hey, man, this doesn't mean what you think it means over here. Like, this is kind of like, over here, working the streets could be synonymous with like the person's a prostitute. And this is like, nothing wrong with that. I support rights for sex workers, and I think they freaking rule. But that wasn't what the character of the game is doing. So I thought that might be a little confusing. Yeah. And after some weird conversations where first the guy's like, we're not going to change it, eventually I was able to convince him that, like, let's just tweak the phrasing here so it doesn't come off quite like that. And localization, like, that's what localization really is. Like, it's not translation per se. And there's so many companies that, like, they're clearly using Google Translate or they're using Guru or something. And all they need are, like, a fresh set of eyes for someone who speaks that language natively to be like, hey, does this make sense or not? And just like I said for Paper Dolls 1, like, unless it's game breaking, I really don't care if the language is clunky. I don't care if it's a little grammatically weird. But Paper Dolls,
this one, it was game breaking.
Yeah, kind of. It was like, one of the hints was like, hey, check the letter in the mail, then go through the door. You will be safe then. And I read that clue over and over and over again. And I was like, what do I do? And I look it up on YouTube. And first of all, there's no mail to check. So that was just like kind of out of nowhere. And then it was like, go through the door and you'll be safe. Well, what the guy on YouTube had to do, and he's a native Chinese speaker too, so he didn't have to look at the translation of the paper that we're looking at. He could just read the original Chinese. You then had to pass through each of the doors in the room 3 times over. So you have to leave the room, come back, leave the room with all 3 doors, but there's just nothing like that there. And, I know I've kind of gone off and like had a few tangents here, but it's that kind of thing. Like, if a game's going to take me about 3 hours to solve the mysteries, I just don't want to spend half that time not solving them. Like, I'm kind of just going to feel dumb and bad about myself. And sometimes I deserve to feel that way, but not this time.
Well, the game's $20. What do you say?
This is going to be, I think this is Brookie's first deny it. I think this might be the first one. I'm glad Aki and Jacob could be here for this, actually. I feel like this fits the group.
It's a monumental day. I'm going to tell my children about this in the future.
Awesome. So yeah, unless you're a huge fan of Paper Dolls 1 and you just want to live in that world some more, which I wouldn't begrudge you that. It's looking dope in there. I simply would not recommend this game, even though developers have assured us it's a fine standalone game and you don't need to know the story or ending to play 2 from 1. That's certainly true and not the issue here. I just find this game to be a little unfinishable in an English-speaking player without outside help that the game itself isn't providing.
All right. Well, hopefully they hire someone who can take a look at the script and rework it a bit and get the game workable. I'd love to see it come over to Xbox too. So yeah. Winking, if you're listening.
And I want. How
are you going to see me winking?
No, the company is winking.
It's a joke.
No, it's not. It's bad.
Yeah, it was.
It was very bad.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's a Jacob's joke. Of course it's bad.
Yeah, it's a dad joke. Of course.
And that's not even a dad joke levels. That's much worse.
The super dad? Like, I don't...
No, I don't even know what to call it, but it was It's not good enough to be even a shitty dad joke.
Wow.
So, Brooke, this is your Thursday night experience. How was it?
It's pretty cool. I want the whole experience soon. Like, whether that means just joining both and like backing up, like I'm going to do this Tuesday for our usual group. Like, I'd love to join a whole thing. I'd like to see where Aki and Jacob go towards the end. Once we're like an hour and a half in, bet it gets weird.
Well, Jacob usually ducks out halfway through the reviews because he does the tweets as well. But
okay,
we're
cool.
doing the show in reverse this week, so he's going to be here for all the reviews.
Cool.
Yay! Now he gets to know what it's like to sit here forever.
I already do. I have to listen to you prattle on about some RPG for like 15 minutes. Yes.
Which RPG did we talk about? No, I don't remember. I've done this so many times, I don't know which one you're talking about. Oh,
I know. I know.
Brooke, we will let you get going. Thank you so much for coming on and hanging out with us.
Aww.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Let's get you on a Thursday full-time show,
yes.
And you could chat news with us.
That'd be awesome. I'm looking forward to that. I'll hit y'all up.
And
for
I
that
get
soon.
to continue to flirt. Yay!
And I get to continue to just blush behind the screen, put my shoe into the dirt, be like, "Aw, shucks."
That's adorable.
You're just encouraging her, Brooke.
I know.
You're encouraging this behavior.
I'm gonna turn Aki into a monster. It's gonna be all my fault. It's gonna be awesome.
Oh, you think there's something you could do to make me worse? That's cute.
She's right. Hey, you guys, this was cool. Our time together was brief but meaningful. We'll do it again sometime.
I grew so much because of it.
I laughed and cried. Oh my god.
I didn't want to know about your growth, Jacob. That's gross.
Wow.
Which one?
Any of them.
Okay,
later,
moving on.
Yeah, bye guys.
See ya.
Yeah.
Next game to talk about is PowerSlave Exhumed, developed by Nightdive Studios and Lobotomy Software, published by Nightdive Studios and Throwback Entertainment. Released February 10th on Xbox One, Series X and S, Switch, PS4, and PS5 for $19.99. Destination: the ancient Egyptian city of Karnak. Alien forces possessing horrifying powers have sealed off the once thriving community from all outside contact. As a covert operations specialist, you've been trained for all forms of contingencies. Nothing can prepare you, however, for the nightmare you are about to enter. Jacob, tell us about your time with PowerSlave Exhumed.
In a world where Jacob has to play PowerSlave Exhumed. Yeah, that's actually how the game pretty much starts off. It's actually like the opening minute is actually narrated by the In a World trailer guy.
Like the original.
Yeah. That's
fantastic.
He narrated
That's
every
awesome.
single. Yeah, he narrated like every 90s action movie trailer. But so that was kind of a throwback. And honestly, I didn't know too much about this game. Like, I'd never heard of it, but like the mid 90s are this weird spot for first person shooters because everyone wanted to outdo Doom and try to throw in oh, look what we have. You can aim your gun up and down, or you can use I don't know, stuff. And so it's just it's real easy for a lot of these titles to just be forgotten. And so first off, it's really cool that Nightdive is bringing some of this stuff back, so we can enjoy it 20 odd years later after it originally came out. So I had never heard of this, and so you're pretty much this covert ops guy who lands in Egypt with nothing but a machete, standard first person shooter starting point.
Machete.
And anyway, so and then so of course you can get other weapons, and eventually you're going to get some Staff of Ra kind of stuff, and you have to collect various artifacts, and once you have them, you'll be able to access other areas, which was something I thought was pretty cool about this game. And so first off, all right, so it came out around 95, 96. What separates it from Doom and similar games? Some of the geography, they made hills. Whoa.
Ooh,
and
for the
so
time.
along with it, they made pits too. And there's really not much else that separates it from other shooters of the time other than, opening narration and location. So it kind of feels like they took like a Pathways into Darkness, like one of Bungie's early titles, and just combined it with like the shooting aspect from like Marathon. And so like you have an idea of like what you're going in with that if you've played those games before. And so anyway, so pretty much it's just you like blasting all these scorpions that eventually run into these like zombies that shoot stuff. And like you get like eventually there's like monsters and stuff and you have to shoot them all, and it's standard stuff. But what I thought was kind of neat is that there's various parts of the maps that you can't access until you've received certain items from other areas of the game. And so it actually it's not so much it encourages replayability, but you will have to go back and backtrack to other levels so you can access different areas. And I'm assuming they give you better things. I don't know. I didn't get that far into it. But yeah, it's interesting. It's an interesting relic of a time period that, you know, as I said, there was a lot of first-person shooter games coming out, and some of them were missed. And I feel like this is probably one of them. And I thought it was really neat just going through it.
It's definitely one that I missed the first time around. Like, I wasn't very familiar with this. I recognize some of the videos that I saw from the old days, what little remains in my brain. It was like the record cranking film player. Anyway, I love that Nightdive is bringing these games back and letting people get their hands on them for a new audience. Yeah,
absolutely. Because, oh shoot, what was the other one that I had reviewed previously? It was like Descent, but damn it, I forget what it was. Yeah, like Forgotten Games of back in the day, and it was just like, yeah, and it's like it's an absolute blast that a lot of these games are being given like a second life for this. So yeah, I was pretty pleased with being able to play this game and being able to check it out.
Cool. Well, it's $20. What are your thoughts?
For $20, yeah, it's definitely worth it. There's, you know, as I said, there's definitely a lot of replayability with it. And I do like the fact that, I mean, replayability in the sense of like, you know, being able to take the game however you want. There's obviously different modes of difficulty and stuff like that. But it's a game that you definitely want to keep coming back and revisiting. And yeah, with that $20, it's just, yeah, it's totally worth it. And honestly, you're supporting what they're doing and bringing back all these like forgotten retro games. So yeah, cheap ass Jacob is totally cool with $20.
Cool beans. All right, next game is called Ocean's Heart, developed by Max Mraz, published by Nordcurrent, released February 10th on the Switch and PC for $14.99. Ocean's Heart is an action RPG featuring detailed pixel art with a heavy focus on exploration and a lively world teeming with secrets and mysteries. Telia sets out in search of her missing father. Follow the trail through the ruins of a flooded kingdom, shape the future of the current world, or keep your head down and focus on your own mission in this epic retro-inspired adventure. Our friend Surlyna wrote in a review for this one. It's been a while since we've heard from her. She's got internet back. This is what she's got to say. Hello there, SML lovelies. It is your girl Surlyna making a triumphant return to the world of indie game reviews. Have you missed me? Of course you have. This week I'm reviewing Ocean's Heart for the Nintendo Switch, so let's hop into the review. Ocean's Heart is a pixelated top-down action RPG that has you taking the lead as Telia, a young girl who takes it upon herself to find her best friend and her father, both of whom disappeared 6 months ago. When playing an RPG, there are certain elements that I always look for, and the main one is story. While the story may be familiar territory, the delivery is very different. The writing is delightful, and there were many times where I chuckled at the situations that Telia found herself in. Ocean's Heart openly plays around with serious subjects, but doesn't beat you over the head with it. It has nuance. I recall a specific side quest in the first big town you wind up in, and at the end of it, they're like, did they just do that? Why, yes, they did. Exploration is a big plus here. It's shades of Zelda, where the game doesn't really tell you what you can and cannot explore, but it's nowhere near as punishing. I highly suggest you go into every hidey hole you can, as you'll never know what you'll find. You could find extra health, a really cool upgrade, or an unbeatable monster. But you aren't doomed to death, and if you do die, you can just pop right back up and try again, depending on your situation. The puzzles in this game are decent, with some of them being open-ended, which I truly enjoyed. For example, in one of the aforementioned caves, I came across a switch puzzle that locked me in when I needed to be out. My brain kicked in with the immediate "I need a bow and arrow," which I didn't have at the time, but bombs work just as well. I appreciate it when a game gives options for ingenuity. The combat is typical. You got your hacky slash, your bow, your bombs, which should be used sparingly, standard magical attacks, all with their appropriate usefulness. One thing I really like, that there's a crafting system in this game. You can make your own potions if you have the necessary ingredients. That's always a plus for me. Graphically, it's a pixel game, y'all, but it looks good. The sprites are crisp and the environments are well done. You'll definitely get that bright SNES vibe. The music is quirky and upbeat, or morose if the situation calls for it. There were a couple of things I wasn't too pleased with. The menu's not great. I understand exactly what they were going for, but navigating it is cumbersome. Also, there are no invisible walls while you're in a town, which means you could just walk off a pier and lose some health. This isn't too big a deal, but it was kind of annoying for me. Ocean's Heart is available February 10th on the Switch and other platforms for $14.99, and should you buy this one, I'm giving this game a definite buy it. Minor annoyances aside, I had a great time with this game. Really appreciated the humor, and playing a game that, like this, it definitely hit me in the nostalgia feels. It's a game that everyone can enjoy. Go get it. I am very interested in this one myself. It looked really cool. I hope they bring it to PlayStation and Xbox as well. That'd be a pretty baller move. Next game, KungFu Kickball, developed by WhaleFood Games, published by Blowfish Studios, released February 10th on Xbox One, Series X and S, Switch, PS4, PS5, Steam, and the Mac Store for $19.99. Compete against your friends in a fantasy sport that mixes soccer with kung fu action movies. Fly through the air and unleash a flurry of punches, kicks, and mystical arts to overpower the other team and smash the ball into their bell. Every bell ring counts as a point, and the team with the most points when the time runs out is declared the winner. Jacob, how were you with this game?
So not particularly great, as you might suspect, but so pretty much KungFu Kickball is, you have these two bells on opposite sides, and you and a partner have to kick the ball, or like hit the ball with your head, however, and ring the bell with the ball on the other side of the screen. And so with that, there's multiple modes, because the game does encourage couch co-op, but thank God, in the time of pandemic, somebody heard my bitches and my bitching, I should say. I mean, they might have heard my bitches. I don't know, but they heard my bitching about having a couch co-op game, and there is online multiplayer for this game. Holy God! Yay. Now, of course, nobody was ever online when I was trying to play, but at least it's offered. So anyway. But fear not, like, you could do practice, you could do regular, like, one-off matches, you could do tournaments, all that kind of stuff. And you could decide how good the AI is. And so I always had, like, the expert AI on my team and, the little scrubs on the other side. So that being said, the game says that there's multiple classes, like the monk and the old master, and, like, it's a few Kung Fu movie tropes. I didn't really notice anything different about them, so I'm assuming that they're just like skins.
Well, no, it says that they do have different.
Oh, they have different powers.
Yeah, like the monk is well-rounded. Okay. The assassin is super quick but doesn't hit as hard. The drunken boxer has his own unique fighting style. The old master, slower in his old age but still packs an incredible punch. The legend is nimble and can send the ball flying with his kicks. And the panda, she's a true heavy hitter. Yeah, so that is correct. So there are like little power-up moves that you could do with that, and that's really the main difference. Now, some of the characters you do have to unlock. They're not available immediately, but, it just means that you have to play more, whatever. So anyways, there's multiple ways of like kicking and like headbutting the ball over there. And plus you can also do kind of like Dragon Ball Z's like instant transmission, where you could just like hop all over the screen. You're a nerd.
Shut up. Like our listeners are going to know exactly what I'm talking about though. So whatever. Anyway. And yeah, and so it's just like, I don't know if it's like best out of 5. Most of my games I think we only scored 5, but I think it's actually on a time limit of like 3 minutes or so. But anyways, yeah, you're just trying to get as many goals as you can in a short amount of time. It's fast, it's frantic, and honestly, it's a lot of fun. It's more fun than I was expecting. I honestly thought that this was going to be like some sort of like lame cell phone game that I was going to play. I honestly did. I thought it was going to be like a lame cell phone game. That it was
it's nice that you have high hopes for the games we get on this show.
Yeah, whatever. But it's just like, I thought that this was going to be like a quick throwaway game. Like I play it for 10 minutes, hate my life during those 10 minutes, and then move on to something else. But honestly, I kept coming back to this game. It's a lot of fun. Even if I was really hoping that, I'd be able to play against somebody else online. But honestly, playing against the AI was just plenty of fun. Even if I barely scored any goals, it's just, yeah, as I said, like it's a good, like, game that you can pick up and put down, and then come back to it later on, like, a week or two later. Like the controls are not crazy.
Well, the good thing is the game is officially out now, so you should be able to find opponents. It is cross-play, so that is good. It has 1v1 and 2v2 online multiplayer. It seems like a pretty solid game. I've seen it at MagFest the past couple of years. They've been showing it off. Always had a good crowd around it. It is $20. What do you think of it?
20. I'm not gonna lie. $20 is a little steep for my liking on this kind of stuff. But you know what? If $20 is the reason why we have online multiplayer for it, then fuck it, $20 it is. I'd rather have a game that's kind of like a couch co-op or couch versus that does have online replayability, or online playability. For $20, then get this for 10, and it just sits there because I can't.
Just couch
we're in the middle of because like we're in the middle of a pandemic, and nobody lives close to me. So I'm honestly really glad that the devs put in online multiplayer for this. I do highly recommend it. It's a lot of fun.
Cool. All right, next up is Far Cry 6 Joseph Collapse DLC, developed by Ubisoft Toronto, published by Ubisoft, released February 8th for Far Cry 6 for $14.99, or available as part of the Season Pass. Become the villain as you step into the mind of Joseph Seed from Far Cry 5. Battle your inner demons as you unveil the backstory of this iconic villain. Explore unique locations in a twisted version of Hope County. Fight your former followers, confront your family members, and escape your own mind in this die and retry gameplay experience. Aki, I know they called the last one Die and Retry gameplay experience as well. What is Die and Retry? Where are they getting
Basically, what that means is every time you die in the game, you start right back at the beginning. The only things you get to keep are unlocks for your stats. Usually they have all the deadly sins, so wrath, pride, etc., as upgrade paths that you can take. One is like, you get more health, and now you get more health, and guess what? More health over and over until you've maxed it out. Another one's like, you get to keep more money when you die, etc., because otherwise you get to keep no money. And you also, every time you die, you also keep any weapons that you had unlocked are still unlocked in the armory, but you don't have them in your inventory, so you have to buy them again. And any of them you've upgraded are still at that upgrade level. So that's what it means by that. Also, if you try to save and quit in the middle of the game, it is counted as a death. So have fun. All of these are made to be beaten in one sitting. And it's not that hard after you've gotten yourself pretty leveled up. Even with basic weapons, that are all like the lowest trash tier, you can still beat the game pretty easily as long as you have like the stats upgraded, because you get more health and more health syringes and shit like that to keep yourself alive. You can beat it once you're at that point. You can beat it in like a half hour to an hour.
That's not bad.
Yeah, your first few playthroughs are going to be short because you're going to be dying like a bitch. But after that, your first couple will probably be fairly long because you want to go everywhere and do everything, so you have everything unlocked and get as many of your fucking abilities leveled up as you can and all that fun shit. But after that, it's just like knocking them out as quick as possible, which usually takes, I think all of mine are between 30 minutes and 60 minutes. So yeah, they're not bad. And the great thing about this is there's 5 levels that you have to play through. They're all the same thing. They're just more difficult. Each mind level is what they call them. You start off at 1 and you can only go up by 1 each time. And 5 is the last one. And you have to beat that for an achievement. But not only do you get an achievement for doing that, after the credits, there's an extra scene that gives you some more information.
Don't say another goddamn word about that.
Yeah.
Well, spoilers.
Yeah.
So it's $15. What are you thinking of the DLC? It's also part of the season pass, which was what, 40? Yeah, it was $40 and included the 3 DLCs as well as Far Cry Blood Dragon Classic Edition. What are your thoughts on this DLC, and what are your thoughts on the season pass as a whole?
This DLC was pretty good. It really enforces that Joseph Seed is a gigantic, massive piece of shit. All the other ones kind of brought the bad guys to some new light that didn't make them seem quite as terrible. They were still terrible, obviously, but they weren't quite as bad.
They showed some humanity.
Yeah. Joseph Seed, he's just a bigger piece of shit now. He really is. He's just a bigger piece of shit. And it also shows you that all the people are related somehow. Not familiar or familial or anything, but they've all interacted. They
have a history together.
Yeah, which is interesting.
Far Cry 7 is going to bring everything together.
I actually wouldn't be too shocked about that. I would fully support that. That'd be awesome. But the bosses starts basically after in Far Cry 3 you stab him in the chest about half-ish way through the game, and he's presumed dead because he never shows up again. And considering he's crazy and he wants to kill you, he would show up again if he wasn't dead. So it starts right immediately after that. The second one, which is Pagan Min's, I believe starts after you blow his helicopter out of the sky. I believe they don't actually specify where his actually starts, so I just assume it's there because it makes sense. However, for Joseph Seed, anyone who's played these games will know that he's not only in Far Cry 5, but he's also in Far Cry New Dawn. This actually takes place in between those 2 games. So it's before he dies in New Dawn. So that's interesting. And yeah, it just shows him to be a bigger piece of shit. And maybe God actually was talking to him, which was creepy. Because that's the whole thing about 5. That's why he is like, God has chosen me. He speaks to me. I'm trying to keep you all alive. And everything he says actually does come to fruition throughout that entire game. And in this DLC, God talks to him.
Oh, shit.
Or something at least talks to him. It's assumed to be God still. So, yeah. Or maybe he's psychic and has a split personality. Who fucking knows? I'm not even. I don't know.
You still didn't answer the question. Is it worth the money?
Yes.
You're just going. It's your own little Purnell tangent on Far Cry 5.
Yep. Yeah. It's worth it. It's fantastic. I really enjoy these. These are honestly these DLC might honestly be more fun than the actual full game itself. I've really liked these. These are all really awesome. Nice. Yeah, all the characters came back and did their new voice lines for all of these, which is even more awesome. So yeah, I'm all for it. And Season Pass, it's cheaper to get that than to get everything else, and you get fucking Blood Dragon, which was the single most perfect Far Cry game that's ever existed. So
I hear the classic edition isn't the best re-release of the game, but I mean, you're still getting 3 $15 DLCs and a bonus game for $40. So you're coming
and
out on top.
I think that bonus game alone is like $20 on its own. I think so. Yeah, I think
everything's coming up Millhouse. Next game is El Gancho, developed by Sidralgames and eastasiasoft, published by eastasiasoft. Released February 9th on Xbox One, Series X and S, Switch, PS4, and PS5 for $6.99. Use a laser hook to navigate out of this world platforming stages and rescue your fellow Cocos. Jacob, tell us about El Gancho.
Wait, you didn't say there's not a Switch version of this game, is there?
Yeah.
Oh, there is? Okay.
Xbox One, Series X and S, Switch, PS4, and PS5 for $6.99.
Okay, I didn't hear you say Switch. Okay.
You son of a...
Listen.
Listen. No one else gets that. Anyway.
Yes, nobody else has ever played a video game.
No,
anyway.
You don't watch AEW, so...
Oh, listen. Sorry, I thought you were talking about Navi.
No, that actually people made wrestling signs that have Navi with this wrestler who goes, yo, listen, and then he does a battle rap against his opponents. The Navi sign's pretty cool. Maybe I'll use that as the image for this episode. El Gancho, tell us about it.
So pretty much it's this like retro platformer kind of thing where it's trying to be like Bionic Commando kind of with a crocodile that has a tail that sometimes is on fire when you like swing back and forth on stuff, and it can sometimes kill bad guys, but then you also need to pick up bullets so you can shoot like little fireball things, while also rescuing these like little critters on each level, along with like these little food bits that you could collect, which then eventually give you more HP as you go along. And each level you have to rescue like 5 or so of these little critters, and that seems to pretty much be the end of the level. I did not get that far into this game because the game's controls cannot be remapped, and they are absolutely atrocious on the Xbox. You have to use left bumper to jump, right bumper to shoot your little grappling hook thing, right trigger to shoot any of your bullets, provided you have any, and then you use the left joystick to move around, right joystick to aim your little grappling hook thing. And
sounds like bumper jumper. That's not too bad. Lots of Halo people can do that.
No, this is a 2D grapple hook game, so that makes it a lot harder. It took me so goddamn long to figure out there was actually a jump button in this game. For my first few runs, I didn't think there was one.
It actually advertised. It says it right there in the tutorial.
I know, but it didn't click for me because I was pushing all the face buttons expecting a jump to happen, and it didn't happen. So I figured, okay, it's just the grappling hook. That's all I could do. And I went through my first couple of runs only using the grapple hook. And it was only when I looked at the achievement list and I saw that there were achievements for jumping that I was like, there's a fucking jump button. And I hit the bumper and I'm like, I'm a fucking idiot.
Yeah, I mean, the tutorial actually has like a list right there.
Yeah,
right
I know. It's right there on the screen.
It is refreshing me being the one to tell you that you're the fucking idiot on the control.
I know, right?
God, it feels so
good. I thought I'd give you this one.
Because I still haven't been able to feel that yet.
I've been on this podcast like almost since like the beginning, and it feels pretty good. It's
a liberating experience.
Aki, I hope you get to feel this one day.
Me too.
As much as we hate each other's guts, I like you enough that I hope that you too will feel the joy in your heart that I feel right now. All right, so I don't want to know what that moan was about. Anyway,
bottom line is jump should have been on the fucking A button.
All right, jump should. All right, even it doesn't matter what damn
should have been remappable.
You should. Yes. All right, it is 2022. How the hell do you have a game that's not remappable? Like, come on.
Carnage saying use the accessories app, but that shouldn't have to be done. Like, just let us map it how we want.
So anyway, and it's just like with these controls, like it is really hard to move around, and the game doesn't really explain how things exactly work. Like that tail, like it's like, oh yeah, you could just hit enemies with your tail. Well, it's not like there's like a push B to like make him like whip around with his tail. You actually have to be in the air flying around, and your tail gets on fire and like it just spreads like a little fire thing. Or I don't know. Like the game doesn't explain itself particularly well. And also it has control issues. And so it's just like, it's a chore just getting through the tutorial. And then getting through the other levels. And I didn't get that far into the game. Like I only beat the first 2 levels, but the problem is that my hands get so damn cramped with these controls that it's just like, it's already frustrating to play, but then I can't play it out. Like I can only do this in like 15, maybe 20 minute spurts. And
yeah, I really didn't like this game. I actually dropped the money for it.
Oh.
Yeah, I actually paid for this one, and I really am not happy with it. I think the controls are just too irritating. I don't like the grappling. The grappling doesn't feel good. It feels like there's times where I'm aiming somewhere and I hit the button, but it doesn't grapple.
Oh my god! And like, how many like? And so, and also, if like you're trying to like jump and grapple at the same time, yeah, like it's such a crapshoot whether it's going to work or not. This seems like a fun game, and as I was saying to my wife, like I wonder how this plays on the Nintendo Switch. I honestly wonder if the controls feel better on that system, and like that's what it was meant for, and then it just got ported over to the to the PlayStation and the Xbox. I'd be willing to give the Switch version of this a try, but it's just honestly they need to remap all of the controls and just like really work on that grappling hook mechanic. It seems like a fun game, but in its current state, like this is a hard deny.
Yeah, I can agree with you on that one. Well, I wouldn't say it's a hard deny. That's harsher than I would say. This is just like a general deny it for me. I couldn't get into the controls, and even my own stupidity aside, once I got what the jump button was, and I got some jump achievements, so I know what the goddamn jump button is now. And even the achievements in this game are so much grindier than some of the other eastasiasoft games. Like, I'm not going to complete this one.
Oh, I already know I'm not going to complete it because holy crap, I can't. Like my hands aren't lasting that long on it. But like, sorry, I'm 37. Like I probably am. Like I'm starting to have carpal tunnel. Like sorry. Like I mean, this is why it's a hard deny. Like it's just I can't sit for more than like 15, 20 minutes playing this game because the how the controls are on the Xbox controller. I can't physically hold the controller to make this game play. Like
no. All right,
it's frustrating. Like I honestly like. I mean, I saw the trailer. I thought it looked like it had potential. I want to like it, but I just can't.
No.
Would you like to know what you need to get in order to 100% this? If you want to, get a Mayflash arcade stick. It allows you to use turbo and just hold something on a button.
Yeah, but how much does that cost?
I think I got mine, which is a much older model at this point. I think it was like $60.
How would an arcade stick work with a twin stick aiming?
Yeah.
That it may not, but I'm talking about all the grindy achievements for like jumping and shit. You can just literally just have it to where it automatically clicks.
Oh, I don't care. I could push a jump button 1,000 times if I need to. It doesn't matter.
Lord knows we have. And unfortunately, I'm not going to buy a $60 arcade stick to beat a $5 Xbox Series X arcade game. So, yeah.
I got it to farm money in Rituals of the Night.
That's anyway, talking about trailers and talking about Switch, there was a Nintendo Direct. We should jump into the news.
Wait, hold on. So, is this just going to air with like with the reviews first and then the news last?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, everyone gets to hear the greatness that is Brooke's voice, and then they can ignore the rest of this. It's fine.
Yeah, there's time
I was going to say, they might actually listen to us this time.
No,
then they're just like, oh, Jesus, those fucks are discussing news. I can skip this.
They'll just skip to the news. So what's up, everybody? This is the SML podcast. I'm your host, John.
They're not going to skip to the news. Oh, man, I got to listen to that news. Jacob's going to report on the latest Sonic the Hedgehog 2 happenings. Oh, I got to get my fix. Nah, actually, I don't know any new news for it. I only, and besides last week, I only did that just to annoy the shit out of you.
You succeeded.
Carnage, what is this, episode 666 again? Yeah, we're doing it backwards.
Oh, yeah. Ooh, good reference.
Except we're not doing, like, the intro at the end and the end at the end. Whatever. Nintendo Direct, Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes was announced for June 24th. New Fire Emblem Warriors game. Yay.
All right. So I'm excited about that. At the same time, it actually made me think back to a couple of weeks ago when the Activision Blizzard thing got announced that they were going to get bought by Microsoft, and Sony's going to buy Bungie, and Nintendo was just like, yeah, we're not really into the business of that, like, because we'd rather make sure that the company has like Nintendo DNA and yada yada, so on and so forth. And the fact that they just announced Fire Emblem is going to get the Zelda treatment with the Warriors series, I was just like, I wonder if Nintendo would ever consider buying Koei Tecmo for that.
I don't know. I mean, this isn't the first Fire Emblem Warriors game.
Oh, really? I didn't.
Yeah, there was Fire Emblem Warriors.
Well, I didn't fucking know. Dude, I only got a Switch like last year. And hell, it's my wife that bought it. But I haven't paid attention to this shit.
It was on the 3DS, too.
You're on the 3DS.
Advance Wars 1 and 2 Reboot Camp was unveiled once again. This time it is coming out April 8th, and it has voice acting now. So, yay.
Oh,
nice.
That's interesting.
Is the voice acting any good, though?
Probably not.
Oh.
No Man's Sky is coming to the Switch this summer.
I'm real curious how that's going to handle. Is it playing off the cloud or some shit?
No.
Now you can be disappointed in handheld.
Well,
yeah, this is a native Switch version. I'm curious to see how well it holds up.
Yeah, I am too. If it does hold up.
Yeah. We'll see. Let's see. Mario Strikers Battle League was revealed. New Mario Strikers game. It's going to be 8 players on a single system you could play up to, which is pretty cool. Going to have online play and online clubs, and it comes out June 10th. I love Nintendo that they do this. This game didn't exist, and now it comes out in 4 months.
Well, that's how they usually do it.
I know, and I love it.
They either announce it like, oh yeah, it's like 3 years away, or it's like, oh yeah, by the way, we're going to drop this tomorrow.
Yeah. Splatoon 3 got a new video. It showed off the Salmon Run Horde mode, which looks pretty badass, coming out summer 2022.
That's cool.
Okay, yeah.
Front Mission is getting a remake. Front Mission First remake was announced coming this summer from Forever Entertainment and Square Enix. So this is one of the projects that those two companies were cooking up together. Front Mission 2 is also coming later on. Don't know when, but Front Mission is back. Yay!
I don't even know what that is.
Mechs.
Ooh!
Yeah, strategy game with mechs. It's pretty...
And you lost it. Why does it have to be strategy? I suck at strategy.
Well, let's win you back with Disney Speedstorm.
Yeah, my kids are going to go apeshit over this.
This game looked great. And then they said it's coming from Gameloft and it's a free-to-play game.
Yep.
Oh,
there
no.
You go.
Yeah, they lost me big time with that news.
Which means as soon as they stop, like, or as soon as sales go down, Disney will pull the plug on it.
Yeah. I don't know. Hopefully it's an actual game that has offline play and it's not just an online play thing. It's coming out this summer. It was announced as a cross-platform game, so it's coming to everything, I believe. But
do you know if it's going to come to iOS out of curiosity? I mean, I would assume it is. Yeah.
I think it's just PC and consoles, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
Have to dig into that more. Star Wars The Force Unleashed is coming to the Switch.
Neat.
That's awesome. I like
the
those
Wii
games.
Version.
I don't know if that's good or not.
From what I hear, the Wii and the PS2 version was actually better than the 360 and PS3 version. Because for the 360 and PS3, they went all on visuals. And for the older systems, Chrome Studios, who do the Tasmanian Tiger games, they worked on it, and it's just a better experience. So
I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I do remember as cool as the lightsaber combat was for the Force Unleashed on Xbox 360. Using your actual Force powers was an absolute pain in the dick, especially when you had to drag the Star Destroyer down from orbit. Oh my god, I hated that part so much.
Oh, I loved those games. They were fantastic.
Oh yeah, I liked them. I mean, I didn't know how the hell they were going to dig themselves out of the hole for the ending of the second one, but I mean,
they weren't clearly.
Yeah, I mean, everyone bitches about like, oh, they didn't plan the sequel trilogy out that well. Dude, did you play The Force Unleashed 2? Vader is captured, and Leia's just like smugly, I have you now. Like,
and on top of that game was like what, 4 hours long? Just Jesus.
It was like, I thought it was like 6, but yeah, it was short as hell. Like
that made me sad. That hurt my feelings because I really, really liked the first one. And I immediately bought the second one when it came out because I was like, oh, I'm going to love this. And then it was so short and there was just, it was kind of a nothing game. It didn't further anything. It didn't really have anything impressive about it. I was like, oh.
It created a shitload of plot holes for that, for the Star Wars saga. So.
That was so sad.
Yeah, well, that will be coming out April 20th.
Did they say if it's going to include like the DLC and stuff like that, or
did the Wii version have DLC?
I don't fucking know. I didn't have a Wii.
I think it did. I think it had all the like costumes and stuff.
I don't know. We'll find out. We'll find out in April. Assassin's Creed: The Ezio Collection is coming out February 17th.
Okay.
So the Switch is getting some Assassin's Creed goodness. SD Gundam Battle Alliance is coming, quote, this year.
Is it a strategy game?
No.
Oh, okay.
It's an action RPG game, and whilst I don't like Super Deformed, which is what SD stands for, it's coming to all systems, and I'm so fucking deprived of Gundam games, I will fucking take it.
Oh, okay.
The last time I played a fucking Gundam game was one of those shitty Gundam Dynasty Warrior games on the 360. And before that was PS2, which were the best ones. So I'm all for this. I want a new Gundam game in my life so bad. So bad.
Well, it's coming this year, so you'll get it eventually. April 7th. Chrono Cross, the Radical Dreamers Edition. This was one of the first big surprises I thought of the show. Chrono Cross is getting a remaster. It includes Radical Dreamers in English, which was like a Super Nintendo Saddle-of-You online-only thing from years and years ago. It's finally coming in English.
I don't know what either of these things are.
You don't know what Chrono Cross is?
No.
What the hell's wrong with you?
Yeah.
I didn't really play much in the way of video games until the PS2 era. You talk about
Legend of Dragoon all the time, but you don't know what Chrono Cross is.
And also, there is a thing called the internet where you can read things, right?
Yeah, but I'd rather ask you guys and have
RPG,
you guys
Square.
go look it up.
All right.
Okay.
Aki, I call bullshit on that statement. Absolute fucking bullshit.
Okay,
I know damn well you don't want to hear me talk about crap. So don't come at me with this like.
If you're explaining something to me, I do. Otherwise, not so much.
All right. Well, I'm about to explain my Fermunda cheese to you.
Kirby and the Forgotten Land is coming March 25th. That's cool. New Kirby game. MLB The Show.
Fermunda cheese.
Shut the fuck up. MLB The Show is coming to the Switch April 5th. It is going to have cross progression and cross play. So if you pick up the show on multiple platforms, you could play it on all of them, which is pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
I love cross progression. That's the gaming world we need to live in, where everything has cross progression and cross play. I love it. Kingdom Hearts Trilogy Cloud releases are out now. Yay, Cloud.
Meh. Very meh.
Was that an attempt at a joke?
No.
Oh, okay.
It should have been.
No. It's not worth it. I got excited about this next one. Fucking Klonoa is back.
I don't know what that is either.
Klonoa Fantasy Reverie series is coming out July 8th for the Switch. My cat just jumped on me and scratched the fuck out of my leg. Thank you, Coltrane. God damn, that fucking hurt.
So what's a
Klonoa is like 2D platforming. It's really awesome. Klonoa. Again, coming out July 8th. It will be hitting other platforms eventually. Fuck, I'm bleeding. Go
get a bandage on it real quick before it gets infected.
I'll be fine.
Portal
Companion Collection is hitting the Switch this year. So Portal 1 and 2.
That's awesome. That is so awesome. I fucking love those games.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Another Square game showing up out of nowhere, Live Alive. Old SNES RPG is getting the Octopath-style HD 2D visuals coming out July 22nd. As far as I know, It's only on the Switch, but it looks badass. And this is one of those games, as you were a kid, like pirating Super Nintendo games and looking for ones that had English translation patches. This was one of them you were always hoping to get.
Wait, you could pirate
those
games as a kid?
Holy shit. Yes. I was able to play Nintendo Dragon Ball and Gundam games because ROMs were existing, like they existed online. It was also the only way you could play the Samurai Pizza Cats game because somebody
There's a Samurai Pizza Cats game? Fuck?
Yeah, it was made by Tecmo. It plays like the Ninja Gaiden games for NES.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and the music's totally fucking banging too. Like it's got a great soundtrack. But yeah, there's like some dude who translated like the first like 3 levels worth of dialogue and then just never returned to it. So
makes sense.
That's a shame.
So many translation projects got like 40% of the way through and then they gave up.
Or they got sued.
No, back then it was just they gave up.
Yeah.
They weren't as lawsuit happy back then.
That's a shame because Samurai Pizza Cats was fucking awesome. I loved that show.
Oh yeah, it was great. I loved it too.
You know what else was awesome? Wii Sports was awesome.
Sure, I guess.
And it's kind of coming back with Nintendo Switch Sports. It's going to include 6 sports with tennis, bowling, chambara, which is sword fighting, 3 new sports with soccer, volleyball, and badminton. Fucking why? You already have tennis.
Because badminton is actually a very different game.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yes,
actually it is. Yeah.
I don't like
You're
backing
hitting
up Jacob, but
shuttlecock.
Jacob's right.
Shuttlecock.
You just wanted to say shuttlecock.
I did.
Yeah.
I think that's the only reason why that's in the game is because Nintendo could say shuttlecock during their presentation.
Badminton was actually one of the few games I excelled at in high school gym class. So, yeah, I can tell you it is a much different game than tennis. That's why.
Well, I won't play it. Online play and motion controls will be included, and it's coming out April 29th, so it's just around the corner.
Cool.
Yeah. There will be an online play test February 18th through the 20th, and pretty much anybody with the Switch can join in and play bowling, tennis, and sword fighting.
Cool.
Yeah, and then this fall, update with golf.
Woo!
Yeah.
Cool.
Taiko no Tatsujin Rhythm Festival will be hitting the Switch with a 4-player mode and a versus mode coming this year. And the Switch is going to have a paid subscription service available with over 500 songs to play.
Oh boy.
I don't like the subscription stuff. I'd rather just buy DLC and just have it instead of a subscription. I hate subscriptions.
If someone's faced with 500 songs at $2 a piece or $10 to play it for a month.
I guess that's true. Yeah.
Let's see. Triangle Strategy got a new video and with a prologue demo available now. It's going to be the first couple hours of the game and your progress carries over. I love when they do demos like that.
Yeah, that's pretty nice. I have no idea what kind of game that is, but...
Strategy. It's in the name, Triangle Strategy.
Well, as far as I knew, maybe that was a fucking puzzle game or something.
Showed off a video for the Cuphead DLC. Then they announced Metroid Dread is getting a free update with Dread mode.
Oh, God.
One hit and you die.
Oh, fuck that.
Yeah. So for the fucking masochists out there, Dread Mode is there. And for the people like me, they have Rookie Mode, which gives you more health and other fun stuff like that. Yay.
Yay.
And me both.
Yeah, that update is out now. So free update now. And then a second update is coming in April with a Boss Rush Mode.
Yeah, see, I don't know why they call it Dread difficulty. They should just call it Asian level and just leave it at that.
That's racist.
No, it's not.
Nintendo Switch Online got 2 new games. Earthbound and Earthbound Zero.
Nobody cares about those games.
Fuck you.
I didn't know there was a 0. I knew there was a 1 and a 2.
Oh, there was Earthbound, and then there's Earthbound Beginnings, they call it, on the NES.
Oh.
But everyone referred to it as Earthbound Zero for like 30 years before it was officially released in America, so I still call it Earthbound Zero.
Okay.
I'm like that. They're out now, so Earthbound is on the Switch. Yay!
Cool.
Zombie Army War 4 is going to be hitting the Switch April 26th.
Nice.
Getsu Fumaden Undying Moon was out today, whatever that game. It looked like a 2D action platformer kind of thing from Konami. It looked interesting.
Yeah, I actually just saw the trailer for that. That has I like the visual style of that game. It's very cool looking.
Yeah.
Not my kind of game, but very pretty looking.
Yeah, that Demon Slayer fighting game is going to hit the Switch June 10th. Lego Brawls is coming June 2022, and it's going to be a multi-platform game. Jacob, are you interested in that one? Lego Smash Brothers?
No. What? I'm real fucking tired of Smash Brothers clones.
But this one's Lego, and everyone likes the Lego games.
No.
Everyone likes the Lego games.
No, but the thing is, I know my kids are going to somehow find out about it, and they're going to be like, oh my god, damn, we need to have this game. No.
Well, yeah, that's because everyone likes the Lego games. Lego games are amazing.
Wait, did I tell you guys about the Lego Marvel Superheroes game that they've been playing as of late?
Nope.
No.
All right, so I got my kids into X-Men, like the cartoon show, and
awesome.
so they're at. I don't know.
You did something right.
The animation is not aged particularly well, but
it still has Rogue and Gambit, and they're adorable.
I mean that's fair, but it also has Avalanche, who I totally forgot existed.
So
anyway,
did I.
The point.
Yeah. Shut up, Joe. Anyway. So they've been watching the X-Men show, and they're asking me a bunch of questions, and now they're like, oh my god, we have to have Wolverine, and like, how come there's no Wolverine in this game? And I'm just like, well, are you guys playing the levels? And they're like, no, we're just gonna keep and they just kept replaying like the first 2 levels like of this game because they don't feel like wandering around the city and like unlocking more stuff or going to the next mission for whatever reason. And so late one night, I just decided to hop on, and literally the next mission.
But are your kids defective? They don't want to play the game? What the fuck?
I don't know. I don't know. But it's just like
when we were kids, we had to play the same 2 levels over and over again. They don't fucking have to. What is wrong with them?
They have save files these days. Goddamn kids and their save files.
Yeah, and so here's the thing, so they're bitching a fit about like how Wolverine's not in the game and blah 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 blah. Literally, the very next level is Wolverine showing up. Wolverine shows up, Magneto is there, like Sabretooth is there, like a bunch of like the X-Men characters are there. And I just play through the level, and then I'm just like, oh yeah, by the way, guys, if you had actually done what I told you to do, you would literally have had Wolverine by now. And then you're like, oh, blah, blah, blah. And then my youngest is just like, oh, well, it's not the Wolverine I want. And I'm like, what? And he's like, he doesn't have his helmet on. And I'm like, oh, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Like,
I mean, I can kind of understand that Wolverine's supposed to have the Wolverine hat. I get that. It's just part of the look, man. It just is what it is.
Yeah. So
that was a fun story. Mario Kart 8 is getting new DLC.
I'm excited
I
for
like
that.
what
I love about this, what I love about this is that it's just like like it's been years since Mario Kart 8 got released, and so it's just like, oh, cool. Are you going to release Mario Kart 9? No, we're just going to release like 2 years
48
worth of
new
DLC.
courses.
Yeah, we're just going to remake every single course from all the other games previously that we haven't done already, and you're going to have to wait 2 years to get them all.
Yeah,
like
48 new courses. By the end of 2023, the first wave is coming March 18th. It's only going to be $25 too for 48 new courses.
Oh,
that's a decent price for all of it.
$25, $24.99, and even better if you're a Nintendo Switch Online expansion pass member, it's included.
Well, yeah, but it's not free though. Like, I mean, you just have access to it, right?
Yeah, as long as you're subscribing, just like the Animal Crossing DLC.
Well, honestly, I didn't know about that. It was just $25 for all of that DLC, so that actually makes that way better.
Yep. So,
okay, but still, yeah.
Root beer, Jesus fucking Christ, and you wonder why no one listens to this show. Yeah. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is coming September 2022. Holy shit.
Awesome.
Yeah, that was a hell of a way to end their Nintendo Direct. So yeah, it was a good show. A lot of cool stuff coming to the Switch. And we might see some Activision Blizzard stuff come to the Switch too, because Microsoft released a statement regarding Activision Blizzard. I'm just going to read the statement. They said, first, some commentators have asked whether we will continue to make popular content like Activision's Call of Duty available on competing platforms like Sony's PlayStation. The obvious concern is that Microsoft can make this title available exclusively on the Xbox console, undermining opportunities for Sony PlayStation users. To be clear, Microsoft will continue to make Call of Duty and other popular Activision Blizzard titles available on PlayStation through the term of any existing agreement with Activision, and we have committed to Sony that we will make them available on PlayStation beyond the existing agreement and into the future so that Sony fans can continue to enjoy the games they love. We are also interested in taking similar steps to support Nintendo's successful platform. We believe this is the right thing for the industry, for gamers, and for our business.
Yeah. I can understand that. It feels to me like they eventually want to just stop making Xboxes and just live off of the proceeds of Game Pass forever.
No, I think they'll still do consoles. They'll just be they'll just be like every few year hardware refreshes, like the Series X is a hardware refresh of the Xbox One, basically. I think they'll just stick with the same UI, the same operating system, and just I
hope the fuck so.
Marginal upgrades every couple of years.
That'd be nice.
I don't know. We'll see. But Final Fantasy VI Pixel Remaster is releasing February 23rd on PC and mobile. Still no word on console release for those, but fingers crossed eventually. Rockstar tweeted that a new GTA is in development, so rejoice from the heavens. New GTA is happening probably by 2030.
Woo.
Yippee, I guess.
Yeah. Nacon acquired Midgar Studio, the developers of Edge of Eternity.
Wow.
Yeah, so that game just came out. Coltrane, you really got to stop this whole jumping on me with no notice. Like this is like the fourth time this show she's just jumped on me out of nowhere. Like normally she'll come next to me and like stare at me and go just something so I know to be prepared. And instead today it's just, hey, let me claw your leg. Yeah, fight with piddles on me, you stupid cats. They're gonna fight on me. Madden 20 is leaving the EA Play Vault on March 31st. Yep, okay. I knew you'd care about that one. GTA and GTA Online are launching March 15th for PS5 and Xbox Series. GTA Online will be free for PS Plus members for the first 3 months. No pricing on the rest yet.
I'm sorry, wait, what game did you say is leaving EA?
Madden 20.
Oh, okay, yeah, because I mean, they're probably just going to pop on Madden 22.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's my news. What do you got?
Fucking nothing.
Shocking.
Fucking nothing. All right, so I do have some news. So the Google Stadia is being deprioritized. Which
what?
I know. Who would have guessed? except literally everyone.
Before it even came out.
Yeah. So pretty much they're going to be working with specifically Capcom and Bungie on some stuff. And it really seems like they're just going for I think they're going to try to get their be aiming for like a games as service kind of thing, kind of like Xbox Game Pass. That's what it seems like. But I don't know. It doesn't matter because Google's just going to lose interest 2 years later. So
yeah, exactly. I would refuse to work with fucking Google with this shit because I know they're just going to stop supporting it and it's going to end up making me look bad. Fuck that. I'd tell them to go away.
So remember America's Army?
Oh yeah.
The real one?
No, the video game.
Oh no.
Well, all right. So essentially, it was a recruitment tool done back in like 2004-ish.
Oh, I do know that.
A huge, massive multiplayer like online shooter game, where it was, you're either playing as the Americans or you're playing as like quote unquote terrorists, which were really just another armed forces kind of thing. So apparently the servers have been going for 20 years. However, wow. they are going to get turned off on May 5th. The gaming series has been stagnant since mid last decade. And they had announced another project back in like 2018, but nothing ever came of it. And while there's still like a few thousand people playing it on a regular basis, they've decided to shut it down, and they're going to be looking at other avenues. Now, of course, like we've covered before, how the armed forces have each tried, doing Twitch streams and esports, with some success, depending on whether people are allowed to comment on the Twitch streams.
I remember that.
And so, so it looks like the Pentagon's going to be looking for other ways for video games to get people to enlist. So there's that. And the last thing that I have is that it looks like Microsoft is going to be trying to open up its store to give more companies a piece of the action for each of for each sale that goes through on there. Currently, Microsoft takes about 30%. Supposedly, they're looking to take less. So then regulators will allow the Activision Blizzard deal.
I thought Xbox was taking like 12%. I thought they made that change a while ago.
I believe The Verge was reporting that it's still 30.
Huh. Yeah, I thought they changed that a while ago, or at least they announced they were going to change it a while ago. Maybe it's finally going through now.
Yeah, I mean, and they also may just be bringing more attention to it as like ooh, look at our distraction. Please let us buy them. So,
there's one thing I'm surprised you didn't bring up, Jacob.
What's that?
Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit film and gaming rights are up for sale.
Yeah, I did read about that, but I'm going off of the SML Facebook page right now, so I didn't.
Wow, I'm surprised you didn't post that.
Well, I haven't had a chance to, but but yeah. So I think that's going to be kind of interesting, because I mean, Lego Hobbit just that became for sale like a few months back. I think over the summer. Now Lego Lord of the Rings is still delisted, but I'm real curious as to like what this means for like all the other games, or if they'll still be allowed to be published, or pretty much just like, yeah, what does it mean? And I'm also real curious to see who's going to buy it. So
as long as we get that one that's dealing with the
Gollum.
Yeah, as long as we get that, because that's a stealth game, and I really want that. As long as we get that, I'm fine. I don't care who the fuck gets it at that point.
Well, that one's coming from Daedalic, isn't it?
I think so, yeah. But I mean, it also could be depending on like how the rights are all divvied up and stuff like that. I mean, I don't know if the Gollum game is being published under. Is that being published through Warner Brothers though, or is Daedalic?
I think Daedalic is the dev and publisher, I think.
Okay, then
I would have to double check.
I don't know. Like the whole thing is just such a fucking mess because, like I was reading up on part of like how the Amazon thing is allowed to be made, because the company that is putting these rights up for sale, essentially they had purchased, like back in the 70s, the ability to make a Lord of the Rings TV show. However, like there was a stipulation in there that it had to be longer than 8 episodes. And so that's actually how the Amazon show is being allowed to be made, because like I guess each season is going to be called like a different TV show or something like that, but it's only going to be like 7 episodes. And so like that's how they're getting away with it.
No, geez.
And so I'm real curious as to like what it means for like the video games, because I'm sure as shit that like they weren't even thinking about this back in the 70s.
No,
not at all.
Yeah.
So Lord of the Rings Gollum is published by Daedalic and Nacon.
Okay. Well,
as long as we still get it, I'm good.
Yeah.
I just want my damn stealth game so bad.
Yeah. Well, is that it for news? Is that all we got?
I don't know. We could talk about Sonic the Hedgehog too.
I mean, is there anything else anyone wanted to talk about, or are we just going to wrap this fucker up?
Yeah, I want to talk more about Gundam, but you don't let me do that, so I guess.
Well, what specifically about Gundam?
Anything. I just like talking about Gundams.
Honestly, I'm so far removed from all that kind of stuff. Like, it was pretty much back the shit that aired on Toonami that I'm familiar with.
So probably 0079 and Gundam Wing would be my guess. Those two are pretty popular.
And 8th MS Team and the original Mobile Suit Gundam.
Yeah, that's 0079.
Oh, wait.
0079 is what year it is in it.
That's right. I'm also thinking of 0080 and 0083 Stardust Memory.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, either of you.
Of course you don't. That's because you don't like Gundam because you're a loser.
Can't argue that, no.
Exactly. Yeah. Go watch Gundam. I promise you, it is good. I swear.
Joe's not really much of an anime guy, though. That's the thing.
I think he would still like it. Just go watch.
I've enjoyed
Gundam,
one anime.
What was it?
Golden Boy.
Nothing like Golden Boy.
Yeah, I know.
No. No, you know what? We can force him to watch the live-action G Savior movie.
Oh no! Don't do that. That's mean. Shit, that's not quite as bad as the Dragon Ball Z one, but
which one?
The American one.
Oh, Evolution. Yeah. No, honestly, G Savior, I didn't think it was that bad. It just felt like a pilot to an American Gundam show that never happened.
I think it was made in Canada.
The only thing that I have for Gundam on my computer, I was going to see if I had any Gundam music to play at the end of the show. All I have are 4 ROMs for the Super Nintendo.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm amazed you even have that.
Yeah. I used to have ROMs backed up for when I used to mod Wii's.
Yeah, go watch 0079 or the original Mobile.
No, do not watch 0079. No,
that's
that is a shit
one.
No, it is. All right, it's not bad, but that is such a shit starting point. Like, no, don't do it.
It was amazing.
Don't do it. No.
Go from that and then immediately jump into Iron-Blooded Orphans. You will thank me. Watch those 2. And you don't have to watch any others. Just watch those 2 and tell me what you think.
No.
Do it, you bitch. You will like them. I promise. They are amazing.
What I would recommend that you do instead is I recommend that you go get baked and watch Space Dandy. He's a dandy guy.
Or Spaceballs.
Okay, Spaceballs. Yeah, you can enjoy Spaceballs. It's much better than Space Dandy.
Yeah, you would enjoy Spaceballs.
So final words for the episode. May the Schwartz be with you.